Hey everyone. All right. I think I'm gonna switch to like I switched to my spooky or more spoopy cat layout. So I hope you guys like it. I'll be using this for October. And I know I'm usually here on Thursdays, but today is Friday the 13th and also a new moon and also a solar eclipse. So I couldn't like pass up doing readings tonight instead of last night. So here we are. I'm going to be doing the community read with the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle by Serafina. And then I will be doing our main readings with the Dark Reflections, which is my spooky month deck. And as always, if you would like to skip the line, you can tip. That also allows you you can ask an extra question or something like that. All right, let's see. I guess let's see what kind of energy we have around us as a community for this Friday the 13th. Oh, how serendipitous. I love this. We have the witching hour. This is a good time to tap into the unknown. This is really like if you have some rituals or spells or stuff like that that you've kind of been putting off and you weren't sure when to go ahead and get to them. I think this is a good time to go ahead and do it. The witching hour suggests that it is a really good time for spell work, for magic. So if you're into witchcraft, it's great. If you're more so into like connecting with your ancestors, this is also a really good time, especially as the veil is thinning. It makes that communication easier. So if you're new to it, then it's a good way to get started. We also have here memory and mind. This is the card of guidance, analysis. So, as we are determining the different workings that we should do, maybe the things that we should be focusing on with this card, this is saying you need to maybe focus it a little bit. Maybe it's not quite honed in to what you need right now, but it's like saying you're on the right path, but you haven't quite gotten there yet. So make sure you keep focusing, or if you rely, or I won't say rely, but if you like to um double check, I guess, with your guides, your ancestors, so forth, then this card is saying go ahead and do that. All right, let's pull one more card. One more card for the community. Oh, I love this. I can definitely use a little bit of this in my life right now. This is the Rising Sun card. Um, this is the card of like hope and optimism. So it's like saying this is like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of card. So if you've been struggling or if this has just been a little bit of a slump or a downswing in terms of mood or whatever, this is saying that you do have that light at the end of the tunnel. You just have to push yourself to get there, and sometimes pushing yourself just means having hope or being optimistic about the fact that things will change eventually. You just have to keep on trucking along. So with all of this together, I would say, if you're trying to work on bigger and better things, if you're trying to build confidence or just switch whatever circumstances you're currently in around for the better, then the time to do that is now. And then also rely on your guides or ancestors or whoever to help you and just remain optimistic through the whole process. So trust in yourself, that kind of thing. I really like this because it kind of has like this liminal space kind of feel where it's like a gateway where it's really your decision whether you're going to step through it. So it really puts the power and onus on you to decide to step through into that gateway or into that path or however you want to look at it. So remember, you can use exclamation point join to enter the queue. Let me see if I can put that on there. Let's see. So if you are having trouble, let me know. And if you would like a more in-depth reading other than just the three cards I generally pull with the tarot, if you'd like to include some oracle or just a bigger tarot, it depends on the question. Um, then you can use my tip links in the description. Oh, I do want to also shamelessly plug that A Life Full of Simplicity and I are going to get together next Sunday. So, not this Sunday, but Sunday, I want to say it's the 22nd. Let me double check. We're going to be doing another fun tarot time. We're going to be doing a zombie invasion spread. So, we're going to pull some cards and see if we survive the zombie invasion. I figured you meant you can relate just out of context, like reading the context of what you were saying, Luke. So yeah, I'm on the same page as you. All right. Alrighty, Kat. So I got your message. What do your ancestors want you to know at this time? Let's see. What do Kat's ancestors want you to know at this time? Card. Oh, Pentacles and Swords. So you have the Five of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, and then the Eight of Pentacles. Since you have two Pentacles and then Swords here, I'm going to start in the middle and then work my way out here. So I feel like at the heart of things, we have this Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is he's not the most impulsive knight, but can sometimes let his enthusiasm get the best of him. So I feel like your ancestors are saying be careful about falling into the trap of being overly enthusiastic and not thoughtful enough. So the knights embody a lot of that wand energy, the swords embody the air energy, and together they can be very combustive or they can be fueling if you put the right energy into it. So I think your ancestors overall are saying, hey, make sure you are being more thoughtful, more methodical, relying on the wisdom that you have while also pushing towards whatever things you are ambitious about. So the Knight of Swords, basically the thing that you have to be careful about is being too hasty. Now, the Knight of Wands is more impulsive. The Knight of Swords is a little hasty. So that means like you kind of come up with an idea and then you, instead of coming out with like plans or steps to see that idea through, you just go ahead and dive in, right? So that's kind of like the warning here about everything. So over here with the Five of Pentacles, you kind of see that in fruition where if you become too hasty about things, if you don't give yourself the chance to think things through and sit with them for a little bit, um you you might end up putting your money towards things that are or your time and energy towards things that are just not worthwhile. And the Five of Pentacles also suggests that you have help around you that you are not necessarily aware of, mostly because you're probably going a mile a minute here. So um but if you so Kat, you were saying you're one to kind of think things through. I have to wonder, you know, what is it that you have, because I know I'm kind of like this, where I tend to really fall into the methodical side of things where I overthink things. And then to compensate, I overcompensate and then rush things. So it's like 90% of the time I'm slow and methodical. And then the 10% where I get into my head, I overthink things to the point like I'm just going to do it. And then I don't allow myself the time to sit with it. Or if there are outside forces that are pushing me to make decisions very quickly, that can lead me to that too. So just throwing a little bit of like my personal experiences of why these things could happen. So it might not be that you tend to do these things, but it could be that situations coming up mm, might force you into a position that makes you feel like you have to make like really snap decisions. But I think this warning is saying you don't have to do that. Um, I would say with the Eight of Pentacles, it's probably something to do around with. So if you're in school, something to do with school. If you're at work, something to do with your work. So the Eight of Pentacles has to do with your learning. What skills are you acquiring? What are you gaining? Who are you learning from? And these kind of mirror each other in the sense like this is saying like you have someone who is around you that is willing to help you through this, but you're not aware of it or you're not paying attention. But the Eight of Pentacles is saying you really need to settle with um expanding yourself, expanding your skills in some kind of way with a person. So this is really the apprenticeship card, really learning from another person. So I think that that's what this overall thing is about. If you're used to doing things on your own, that could be why this knight is here in the center of this reading. It's just like sometimes the knights have their own ideas and they just want to forge through with them, whether they think things through or not. But the Knight of Swords tends to waffle on the thinking part. Sometimes they just get so many ideas in their head and they just can't stop to assess that. And a lot of times, or I will say in this time specifically, maybe that means s- just taking a breath to stop, assess, and actually reach out to someone to help you with that. So yeah, Kat, I definitely feel like I don't know, I don't feel like it's an ominous warning. It's more of a hey, this thing might happen and you should be aware of it. Um because you know better or you can do better, that kind of thing. It's not like, hey, this thing is going to happen and it's going to destroy your life. It's nothing it's nothing like that. But I mean, Kat, you're so right. Sometimes I mean, I can't I don't want to use such harsh terms as saying I have enemies, but people that are not favorable in my life, I can very much learn from and they have helped me along the way because I know what not to do. But I will say too, just as like a last refrain, is that you had the two pentacles, which is earth energy. You had the swords, which is air energy. Sometimes they can be a little conflicting. So that could be a sign that there are conflicting situations coming up in your life. And your ancestors are just making sure that you're not going to make any rash decisions because of being put in that situation. Mhm, yeah, that's very much the 5 of Pentacles energy, not being sure who to trust, so you kinda do things on your own, and then you kinda put yourself in a situation where you struggle unnecessarily. I relate a lot to that. But I think that this period too, I kinda gave more of a warning than the, like, good side is that this might be a good period for you to find that person who is reliable, who you can really, learn from and grow from. So I just wanna clarify on I'm never sure what individual people mean by their higher self. What do you mean by your higher self? Do you mean a more spiritually enlightened version of yourself? Or do you mean more of a like intuitive side of yourself, a more knowledgeable side of yourself? What does higher self mean to you? And I guess I'll pull two cards for each one. Let's see. Let's see what the situation is with the water sign. Mm, how interesting. See what the situation is with the fire sign. Put that here. Scoot these things over so I can make a little bit of a division. All right, second card, fire sign. Okay, your best self. Wise lifestyle, spirituality. Okay. That's what I figured you meant. So, here we have your water sign, here we have the fire sign. I think that overall, and this isn't a good versus bad. I'm looking at this in the grand scope of, like you said, leading to your higher self. I think that the fire sign might hinder that growth there, especially with the tower sign and the three of pentacles. So I read this deck mostly upright. So this feels more likely to be like that, right? With the fire sign, you have this tarot card. There's a lot of upheaval, there's a lot of changes and just sudden things that will affect your life. And the three of pentacles is it felt reversed because of this tower card rather. Um the three of pentacles in reverse is like, hey, you are this whole connection is unstable. I think dealing with the fire sign would lead to instability in your friend circle. So if I were to summarize this into like rational and, you know, in real life situations, this sounds like someone who comes into your life, kind of just turns things upside down and ruins the connections that you have with people that are actually meaningful in your life, your friends, your family, you know. It could even have to deal with like how you were are working at work with your coworkers and stuff like that. So this feels more like a dangerous precarious situation. On the flip side, with the water sign, you have the King of Cups and the King of Wands, which is a nice balance between the water energy that we're getting and then the fire energy. So I feel like this water sign is probably like a water sun and then like a fire rising or something like that, or a fire moon. And ultimately with the two kings, I think the prevalent message here is that this person is going to be more so um someone who reflects a overall maturity in your life and helps bring out that maturity in you and allows you to be the it allows you to tap into that king energy. So on one side, or I guess overall, you're able to tap into that wisdom that you know you have, and maybe you don't have the confidence to give off that leadership ability. So on the cup side, this is where you feel more confident in connecting with things emotionally, building emotional connections with the people around you. It doesn't have to be just with this water sign, but this is how they affect you and how how the best of you is being brought out, right? And then on this side, this king is more of the visionary. So this is where you start to understand this is how you want your life to look. You start to kind of form your little kingdom, uh pun intended, for your future. This is a creative king. Overall, they're both very wise with what they're looking for. And I would say, I mean, ultimately, choice is yours. I'm just a girl playing cards on the internet. But if I had to make a choice between these two options, I would say the water sign has a lot of balance. Um, there's a lot of maturity here. And this has a lot of turbulence. And sometimes we become, like it's like a diamond, right? Formed under pressure kind of thing. But this just does not feel fun to me. It does not feel like a really fun option. So I would say the fire sign's probably not going to be a good option for you. But the water sign, I feel like might be. And I would look deeper into just the sun signs because this water sign may not only be just water, it might be water, fire, and a few other things that help bring out the best in you. I agree. I think it looks pretty clear. Um, so you're very, very welcome. All right, whimsically, you are up next. Just checking my. All right. So whimsically, I do not do those questions anymore. I can look at like the situation between you and S, but I won't do like what so and so thinks about you, likes about you, feels about you, that kind of thing. Just trying to set some internet boundaries. What happened to my music? Come on, Restream. They're like, you know what? Let's go with some chill hop. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. See what this situation is between you and S. Situation between Whimsically and S. Okay. Oh, the Hierophant. All right. We have the Hierophant, the Page of Swords, and then the Three of Swords. Let me just fix that. I guess I'll go in order. I'll just go in order because, yeah. So the what's interesting is the situation between you guys. I feel like is still a little in flux. So if you guys are still kind of like, working through the early stages of building a relationship, then this explains quite a bit. The Hierophant, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. I will add you to the queue. So, with the Hierophant card sometimes pops up a lot in tarot when it comes to like marriages because it really deals with like traditions and um uh contractual, no, I don't want to say contractual obligations, that feels very like cerebral, but a lot of times, you kind of have these church vibes with the Hierophant. It feels very much like a unionship can be forming in this card, but the thing in this reading is it is mirrored by the Three of Swords. So I don't know that that's net. I feel like there's going to be a disappointment around this idea of wanting to get to a more serious place, right? So, um, let's kind of talk about the page here. The the page is can sometimes be a really nice card because pages are really like effervescent, they're youthful, they really kind of have this overall curiosity of life and wanting to learn things, especially the page of swords, because pages tend to be really grounded and rooted, and they want things to come to them in the sense that, knowledge to come to them so they can learn new things, figure things out before they take the next step, which would be taking the next step into knighthood. But the Page of Swords in this aspect feels very much like they would rather sit and learn about someone, but there's no actual emotional connection. And I think that maybe if I'm now that I'm sitting and kind of digesting this a little bit, the page probably feels this way and is coming out in this reading because I wonder if the situation between you and S is really that, you know, S has to get over whatever baggage is causing this Three of Swords moment. I will say that if we look at this as like a progression of things, right? So maybe this person would love to see themselves married in the future. You would love to see yourself married in the future, or, some sort of, doesn't have to be marriage, but like an actual long-term commitment. But they're really just in their heads and really not making any movements to do so because of this blockage of the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is really saying like they're having a hard time getting over whatever heartbreak that they've had to deal with. This card is very literal when you see the imagery. It's just I don't think the time is right. So if I were to summarize this as like the situation between you guys, I don't think that S is in any position to do anything serious going forward. So if that's something that you're looking for, I don't know that you'll find it in this person. The connection between you and S, like down the line, like if I were to separate this out, right? If I were to say, like, if they figure out this moment, this Page and Three of Swords moment, perhaps you could open up the part of themselves that really wants a long-term committed situation. But they're just not there yet. They're not there yet. So that I don't know if you guys are friends or this is just sort of a passerby or whatever, but I would say that if they're a friend, just enjoy the friendship, let them go through whatever they're gonna go through. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. If they're a passerby, then maybe they're just someone fun in the meantime, but don't expect anything more than superficial at this point. So just to kind of sit with that a little bit. I was trying to like see if I saw anything else, but I think that's the core. I would say so, whimsically. Uh, Give it time if you're wanting to be patient. Like if this is someone you want to see things through, they just got to get through whatever they're gonna get through, and it's mm, usually I would say that you can't rush that, but you can let it happen organically for sure. Olive, welcome to the queue. Thank you for tipping. So I'm gonna get you next. Go ahead, put your question in the chat. I'll either pull more tarot cards or a combo of tarot and oracle. It just depends on the question. Oh, guys, don't forget to like this video. It helps with the algorithm. You're very welcome, whimsically. It's nice to see you or chat with you, rather. Hey, Olive. Oops. There we go. Ooh, what can you do to aid your journey? Okay, let's see. What can Olive do to aid their journey? Okay, so for your oracle cards, you have the blue moon card. This one is the card of opportunities, divine power, and clarity. And then it's okay. I know there's a lag between me talking and you guys posting your comments, so I'm patient. Your other card here is shadow and light, demon, shadow self, and integration. Okay, let's see what the tarot says. Okay, so let's see what your healing journey is. You should get it, Luke. Shameless plug. This is the Earth, Moon, and Shadow Oracle, and then the Dark Reflections Tarot. So you have, I'm going to scoot everything up so you can kind of see everything. There we go. So, in terms of aiding your healing journey, I think overall, so using the oracle cards as your overall, um I think part of this is, so one part is physical, I feel like, and then the other part is mental. And I don't mean this to say that what you're experiencing is one versus the other. I think it's just a matter of like how you handle it in these two aspects, how you handle it physically and how you handle it mentally. So with the blue moon, um, you know, this is the card of opportunities. With the blue moon is really seen as like astrologically is the extra new moon in a month. So it's like the extra opportunity to manifest something into your life. So this is where the physical comes in. What are you doing to bring in that healing element? This could be both spiritual. This could also be very mundane. So um, this could be going to PT. This could be going to your doctor's appointments, taking your meds, or it could be more so meditation. It could be just spending time in nature. So that's gonna be very personal for whatever it is that you are going through. But on the other side, we have the shadow and light. This is the side where I feel like it dives more mental. This is your shadow self, your demons. When we deal with health, sometimes our mind can go into places that don't serve us. And I feel like this card is saying, how are you balancing the demons that the negative thoughts with the positive thoughts? Are you over saturating yourself with the positive thoughts? And I mean this in a good way, in order to outweigh the negative, because a lot of times, And I'll give an example just so you guys understand. Like when I sprained my ankle really bad to the point where the doctor was like, "You should have just broken it because it would have been an easier process to recover." And for a while, I felt really like a little guilty. You start to feel like you're not doing the right things in order to get better. So, like, are you letting that slow down your progress instead of being more optimistic? Like, I'm taking these steps, I'm doing these stretches, I'm going to see these specialists, blah, 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 whatever that looks like, right? So, this is the mental side, this is the physical. And then here, down here, we have more of the, I guess I'll call it the overall points to give to you. So the 5 of cups mimics a lot of what I just described. The 5 of cups is really the emotional side of things. How are you handling this emotionally? One of the things, the major thing I feel like in the 5 of cups is that even though that card really talks about being really despondent and that you're just emotionally you're emotionally just drained and you're just not feeling it because you're focusing on that negativity. But if you look at this card, right, this guy, you see some of these cups that are tilted over. You see he's trying to fill up these cups that were probably knocked over or whatever, but he's totally ignoring these cups that are upright. So make sure that you are putting your energy towards the right things in this time period, and that will really help you um along this journey because you're not overexerting yourself for things that are just not serving you. Here we have the 6 of cups, or 6 of pentacles rather, sorry. This is the card where at the heart of everything between these 3 cards, this is the card that's saying be generous with yourself, be easy with yourself. It's okay if you need a R&R day, a rest and relaxation day. It's okay if you need the opposite, where you are just going hardcore with like PT or whatever, whatever. I'm just using examples, but whatever that looks like for your situation. It's okay to have those days where you're just focusing solely on whatever it is that you need and to be a little just to be generous with yourself. And then here, the 4 of Wands, I would say that if you were to summarize all of this, this is your wrap up, right? When we're going through healing stuff, a lot of times we see the big picture, right? What is our main goal? But the reality is that you should celebrate those small victories as well. And if I go back to my ankle example, right? There was a point where I literally could not go up and down stairs anymore because my ankle ended up being so bad that it affected my knees. I couldn't like bend down to feed my cats anymore. So like my goal was get my ankle fixed, but a small goal in that was to be able to like just bend down to pick up my cats and not have any pain, right? So while my ankle might still ache, I can pick up my kitties and not have any, severe pain. So the 4 of Wands really invites us to celebrate those small victories. Understand that the big victory is on the horizon. You're going to get there, but be gracious with yourself when you reach these small goals. Yeah, but you know, a lot of times you're just like it's really easy to spiral into the I'm going to get to the end goal, I'm going to get this done, and you forget about the victories that you've had along the way, and one little setback can cause a spiral, which is what I see in the 5 of cups, where you just are emotionally drained. You don't realize that you have these good things that are going for you. You don't realize that you have made all of these great steps. So I think the big thing, if I were to summarize your healing journey, the big thing would be to be gracious with yourself and celebrate the small progress that you're making to get to that big goal, because that's a very easy way to I guess I'll say burnout, I guess is a good way to put it. Hi Farida, welcome. But yeah, Olive, be gentle with yourself. Allow yourself some grace. Healing is honestly a lifelong commitment. So just think of this as one step along the ultimate journey. I I'm shocked they have not come. I heard them running up and down the steps, but no space cadets today. But I'll tell them you said hi. Uh, Luke, there you go. I got your question. Thank you again, Olive, for the tip. I appreciate it. Mm, I'll pull some cards and see. I've actually never done something like this. So let's see, Luke. Let's see what you should focus on divination wise. Hmm. So you have the Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, and the Five of Swords. Streamlabs did not like that you said ass. Sorry. um. So the I'm not gonna like say a specific one, but I'll describe it and you can come to your conclusion, right? So the Ten of Pentacles makes me assume that this is something, the one that you should be focusing on is the one that you have been working on the longest and the hardest. So if you've been working on a few for the same amount of time, which one have you been putting a lot of focus on overall? That is the divination that you should really be looking at. The Ten of Pentacles insinuates that you're kind of on the precipice of finishing up the cycle of I would say one phase of learning that specific form of divination. So, and this is definitely more of a physical one. So it's definitely something that requires either cards. I know you do charms. I don't know what else you do, but I would say with with having two pentacles here, this is definitely something that you are using a physical tool on. So like my tarot cards, oracle cards, my bones, stuff like that. Over here we have the Queen of Pentacles. This is where I feel like this is saying you're very close to reaching a milestone, I guess. I would actually more so summarize it as reaching a comfortability. I don't know if that's a word, but I'm using it. Where you feel like you are really stable in that particular tool. And the queen also suggests that this is something that you really enjoy using. So, okay, so you said tarot oracle, right? Now between those two, the queen is basically saying like, where do you feel that you have the most intuition in? That's the one that you need to really just refine, and I won't say wrap up because you're never done learning divination, in my opinion, right? So, where do you get to the point where you get to a point that's just comfortable, I guess, where you feel like things start to come a little more easily. You don't have to work as hard to do your interpretations. You become more familiar with how to interpret different varieties of questions with that specific tool, that kind of thing. The queen has that level of intuition, right? And then over here, We have the Five of Swords. I feel like we're getting a lot of swords and pentacles. I think this deck is a lot of swords and pentacles overall, just from recollection. But we have the Five of Swords. I would say that if your goal is to get to a point where you feel like you have the confidence that you need, that you're looking for personally, the Five of Swords is saying like, what weaknesses um are you facing in that specific tool that need to be overcome in order for you to get that. So if I were to relate this back to what you're saying, right? You have tarot and oracle. Do you feel like you have more weaknesses in tarot, or do you feel like you have more weaknesses in oracle? If you feel like you have more weaknesses in one, but you feel like you're on the precipice of both, whichever one you feel like you're a little more weak in is the one that you should focus on. So if you feel like you are okay, sorry, I'm reading. Um I, I would say that if I, based off of what you're saying, runes, charms, dice are taking a back burner to Tower and Oracle. And this is really a decision about what needs to be refined to feel like you're getting to that next milestone in learning. So as we're talking through this, it sounds like it's tarot, because you're saying tarot is your weaker point, right? That's where I see a lot of this. I feel like oracle, you might have more of a, you might already have this Queen of Pentacles energy. You don't really need to find it. So through talking this out with you, I would say that tarot is really what this is leading me towards. Something where you can reach the next milestone of comfortability, confidence, but you need to build up a little more intuition about it, and something that you still feel you have some really major weak points in. So yeah, I guess I would say that tarot is the thing that you should focus on then. I will say too, looking at this, I think building that confidence in tarot will help a lot in these other forms of divination. Um, when I was learning tarot and oracle, they uh, they butted heads a lot because oracle is much more free flowing. It kind of depended on the oracle deck, and there was no real actual system to learn. So I ended up kind of going over to that, and then I realized like it was sort of a hindrance to my tarot studies. Not to say that you can't do both. I'm just saying that I relate a lot to this question. And that's fine. Sometimes I feel like I sit my cards down too long and I don't even know what to tell you guys. Like when I went on vacation to Spain and I came back after like 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God, what are, even though I gave my friends tarot readings, like coming back to the live stream, I was like, oh my God, what are tarot cards? What are suits? So it's just a matter of being consistent. And I would definitely agree that it is tarot that you should focus on. All right, for Rita, you are last but certainly not least. And I did close my queue, so anyone not in the queue is not in the queue. And then I am going to go finish, well, not finish, but finish the episode of the One Piece live action that I'm watching. I'll see if you guys will reunite again. And then anything else that pops up. Well, AK and Farida reunite again. You're welcome, Luke. So you unfortunately got a very ambiguous reading here. You have the Death card, Ten of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Um, it's sort of a bunch of like maybe answers, unfortunately. So the Death card talks about the possibility of transformation and growth and evolving into something new. But then the Two of Swords really talks about there needing to be a decision that's made. So, or that needs to be made rather. So I don't think that I don't think that it's clear, honestly, right now. The Ten of Pentacles suggests, though, that there is a really strong connection between you guys. There is the possibility of that. It's just not set in stone right now. The Ten of Pentacles does talk a little bit about being rewarded, finding stability. Um, but the thing is that the cards around it are in such flux that that does not necessarily mean that this stability is between you and AK. It could be between you and someone else, AK and someone else. That has yet to be decided. So if I would recommend there needs to be a little either communication. If there is no form of communication happening and no possibility of communication happening, I think logically we can safely assume that, there's probably not going to be a reunion happening. Um, so you're saying that definitely not near future, not with the Ten of Pentacles. Uh, Definitely. I mean, honestly, not with the Death card either. So reconciliation in the near future, solidly a no. But you, in regards to the other stuff, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think that this has a lot more to do with you and just it's very ambiguous. It's very ambiguous reading. So I'm sorry. I'm waffling a little bit on this. But with this Death card, I feel like there are bigger and better things that are there. And maybe this, with AK is just not one of those bigger and better things. That being said, I will say a lot of times one of the things I say is that there's a lack of communication, right? Two of Swords. Swords in general is about being communicative. So if you have it in you to try, you can try. But the thing is, the Two of Swords is a crossroads. It can work. It may not work. And there's really nothing, I feel like at this point, nothing driving it. It feels like it's very much up in the air. And I hate to give such nebulous, fluctuating readings like that, but sometimes that's just how the future is. It's just not set in stone. I mean, a lot of times the future's not set in stone, but certain situations just don't have a clear path. And I think that This reading is a sign that you need to decide what that clear path is gonna look like, and that can mean either moving on or trying to build communication and seeing what comes of that. So, if you're not communicating, I would say that I would take the Two of Swords as a suggestion, right? You have two paths that could branch into other paths going down, right? But right now you have two paths. You can decide that you are just not communicating, it is what it is, and move on. Or you can decide that you want to at least try. Breach that communication gap, talk to them, send a message, whatever that looks like, and see where things go. The thing is, if you choose that route, things could branch off from that. You might still end up in the path that's like, well, it is what it is. It's not going to happen. Or things could be different. But that has to happen before anything else becomes clear going forward, unfortunately. Okay, you've already tried communicating with them? With AK? If so, then I would say that maybe it's time for you to decide how you are going to move on. Uh, Reflecting back on these cards, how are you going to move on? How are you going to bring new stability into your life? And that does not mean a person, that means within yourself. How are you going to evolve and transform into to a better self for you that, yeah, kind of. Unfortunately, sometimes we have to go back to square one, and it sucks, but it's not always the end of the world. And in regards to this, it doesn't feel like the end of the world. It just feels like a new journey. Not even a new journey, it's just like an evolution of the journey that you're already on. It's probably a better way to put it. But yeah, I would stop trying to put honestly, if I'm gonna give my 2 cents outside of the cards, stop putting your energy into this person if they don't want to communicate with you. And moving on can look like a lot of different things. Could be focusing on yourself and your growth, your personal journey. Could be reaching out to like therapists or whatever to help give you the steps to move on, whatever that looks like. You're welcome. Good luck. I know it's a stressful situation to be in, so it's super not fun, but I said this in a previous reading. Give yourself some grace. Okay, guys, I am gonna hightail it out of here, watch some more of the One Piece live action, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. So, have a great new moon, have a great Friday the 13th, have a great solar eclipse, and I will see you next week at my normal time at 7 p.m. on Thursday. All right, bye, guys.